Back in May of 1911, Governor Albert Gilchrist signed into law legislation that incorporated Auburndale, Florida. This act set into motion the type of government, laws, and the elected processes that remain in effect today. Let me introduce the other members of the Centennial Celebration Committee, and please hold your applause. Auburndale native and Polk County Historic Librarian Joe Spann, Chairman of the Auburndale Planning Commission, Tim Pospical, 25 years of service with the Auburndale Fire Department, Deputy Fire Chief Joey Smith, former Auburndale Mayor and two-term Polk County Commissioner, Auburndale City Commissioner Jack Myers. Let's make them welcome and thank them for their service. This afternoon, we would like to introduce you to 5 signature events that will take place next May in 2011, as the city gathers to celebrate our Centennial celebration. The 5 signature events include a Centennial video, a historic video capturing the history of our city, one that we can take into the classrooms and show before our civic clubs and the like, but will also capture the Centennial celebration event as it unfolds. We'll hear more about that just in a minute. You'll also know today as you leave that the city of Auburndale and the railroad and our history are intertwined. We were actually founded along the tracks. So what better way to celebrate our Centennial than to also celebrate the railroad with a train exhibit? We'll hear more about that this afternoon as well. This is an exciting event, a bell casting event, a 2-day event in the city park. This company comes into town and they bring their tractor trailers and they will actually pour and cast a bell that the Centennial Committee and the city will leave for future generations to enjoy. A real nice time capsule event. You'll hear more about that this afternoon as well, involving the community, our churches, citizens, and families as they come forward and present items to be included in the time capsule. And then a family fun day event at Lake Myrtle Park, capping off the entire celebration with the grand finale out at Lake Myrtle Park, and we'll hear more about that this afternoon as well. Let's get started. We'll start with our Centennial video. What we wanted to do was produce a professional video, as we suggested, that would capture our history. Direct your attention to the screen, if you will, and we'll see the first excerpt of this historic video.
During the summer of 1883, the Plant Investment Company constructed the first railroad line in Polk County. Known as the South Florida Railroad, it would eventually stretch across the state from the St. Johns River at Sanford to the Hillsborough River at Tampa. Experienced crews of African Americans from South Carolina and Georgia did the back-breaking work of clearing the right-of-way and constructing the track. After traversing the Reedy Creek swamps, the line entered a largely uninhabited region of Polk County, an area of sandy ridges dotted with hundreds of spring-fed lakes. The arrival of the South Florida Railroad would change Polk County beyond recognition. In the first year of operations, the population doubled and income from the tax rolls tripled. In 1884 alone, 7 new towns would spring up along the line of the railroad, one of them named for a small community in Massachusetts.
Please welcome the Polk County Historic Librarian who's been working on this project, Joe Spann.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Bobby. I am Joe Spann, the director of the county's Historical and Genealogical Library down in Bartow. We're part of the library cooperative here in the county and work for the Board of County Commissioners. Bobby first contacted me about 2 years ago with the idea for this video, and we talked about it and thought it was a great fit. the library had the kind of resources that we needed to produce the video, and my background in entertainment also fit very well. Right now, what you're seeing, you saw the first segment, the video will contain basically two types of things, the historical segments that you just saw, and also video that we'll take during these signature events. So the video will not be complete until the celebration is over with. But in its incomplete form, it will be shown in the Depot Museum during the event, and of course will be available for purchase afterwards. The video itself is a partnership in combination with Polk Government TV, and we're proud to be doing that. They have a great facility down there at Bartow, and they're allowing us to use that and the expertise of their people to produce this video. And I guess Chris Shelton, need to thank him. Chris here with the City of Auburndale. He's been a great help to me in getting this ready to go. And I think we have another segment. Is that right, Bobby? We have one more segment to show you, sort of as a little teaser. Thank you.
2 years before the arrival of the railroad, Chicago residents Frank Fuller and his father Reuben homesteaded 160 acres in Polk County. In May of 1882, they returned to Florida and located their lands near a lake, then known as Lake Mary Ann. That first season, they managed to clear a small area and build a wooden lean-to for shelter before they returned to Chicago. In the summer of 1883, the Fullers returned to Polk County only to find that a camp for railroad construction workers had been built near their property, and that the line itself would actually pass through one corner of their lands. Seizing the opportunity, Frank Fuller quickly had a small store, post office, and opera house erected to provide for the needs of the workers and the local population. He called the place Sanitaria, as he believed his father's rheumatism had been cured by the local climate. As the completed tracks neared Sanitaria in August of 1883, civil engineer Lewis McLean approached Frank Fuller about the possibility of a station at that point. Fuller was initially receptive, but quickly became angry when it became clear that he would be expected to donate part of his land to the railroad and pay for the construction of the depot himself. In a fit of rage, Fuller rejected McLean's offer, and in so doing, sealed the fate of Sanitaria. The power of the railroad would be clearly demonstrated to Fuller as his village slowly vanished over the next year.
Additional segments of the video will include the depot, how the depot came to be, where it's located now, the naming of our community, and also the incorporation of Auburndale as a town and a city. Let's give another round of applause to Joe Spann and Chris Shelton for their efforts on the video. Job well done. We can't wait to see the rest of it. Real nice compliment to our Centennial celebration as we move forward into that next year. Also, as we get closer to the event, you'll begin to see flyers and mailers that will be mailed out. One of the printed publications that the city staff has been working on is a calendar, which will be made available before the end of the year. It has a now and then theme. This is May 2011, and you can see our Centennial celebration already highlighted on the calendar. But the picture up top is really what we want to focus on. That's Park Street in Auburndale. And the building to your left is still there today. At one time, that building held the theater in our community. And then you look to the right and you see the same Park Street, except for it's got the newly renovated downtown park. The whole calendar will have that theme all the way through each of the months. Our city clerk, Shirley Lawrence, and Crystal Holmes, our librarian, have been working on that project, working with other local historians and photographers on that project. So let's give them a round of applause and make them welcome. And keep your eyes out for those calendars as they become available. Joe indicated the historic depot becoming a museum setting. It has been renovated. This was the old Seaboard Coastline Railroad Station that a year or so ago or several years back, was moved a mile or so down the road to its current location to where the old Atlantic Coastline Railroad Station once sat. And so that will be converted into a historic display during the Centennial celebration. And one of the displays that you'll see over there, there'll be numerous displays, including static and interactive displays. One will feature a tribute to our City Hall. Hunter Miller, who is a student at the Flagler University up in St. Augustine, has been doing a summer internship with us this year and working with the Centennial Committee, but he was also tasked with this assignment of working on one of the exhibits that you would see over at the historic depot. And that would be the one that celebrates our City Hall. Please direct your attention to the screen and we'll watch this exhibit. I picked up